Thank
Good evening, everybody. Copies here.
Enough for everybody?
I might need to take Ron's back from him,
It's all right. I can
unless you
share.
guys wanna
Yeah.
share.
We'll
Okay.
share.
New stuff anyway.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Anyone who doesn't remember, Josh Farkas, nice to see you all again. We left after being in front of you folks about 2 weeks ago with, I'd say, a relatively short list of action items before coming back to see you. As we wrapped up last meeting, we confirmed the vote that we're seeking a minor modification, we confirmed that. And then Peter had some cleanup items for us on our plan that our civil engineering group and Peter coordinated on over the last, I guess, 2 weeks. So I don't wanna repeat anything, so I'm kinda just ready to,
Anything new from last 2 weeks ago?
in corresponding back and forth with Peter, basically, I think we've answered the questions that have come up about specifically related to stormwater calculations. I don't wanna speak for you, and then we've also confirmed that the plan we've put into place will adequately address Ron's needs from stormwater drainage and all that.
Conservation Commission, you went before?
Yep,
them?
we went in front of the Conservation Commission, and basically we proposed this section of the road in the wetland buffer zone. And they basically gave us the indication that forgetting the abbreviation, is it an
NOI?
RDA? An RDA
Okay.
would be the process rather than an NOI. So they were comfortable with that. We actually just finished the paperwork today. We'll be submitting it in the next couple days. And they meet once a month, I believe, so I wanna say it's the 13th of March that we're back in front of those guys. So we sat with Charlie, Mello, and a couple of the other members of the board.
So any approval that we vote on should be conditional on Conservation Commission approval, which would be the case anyway. Peter, any comments?
As you remember last week, 2 weeks ago when we were here, they had submitted some plans and I had some concerns with some of the technical, that it wasn't fully complete. They did manage to get me a plan that, brought this up to the speed and has all the information and addressed the comments that I brought to their attention at the last hearing. So I have submitted a revised letter, basically carrying the same, suggested conditions, but they did address all the technical issues.
So that's the February 17th letter.
Yes.
Questions from the board?
I was just concerned with the roadway. Was my major issue.
Yep. I would say us too, and
And how about the fire chief? Has he been back? And he satisfied?
we received correspondence from him that he was, I think, Peter
The
probably
same
has it.
correspondence from January 15th?
No, it's on the back of the letter. The letter that you have in the
Right.
package, his email is in the back of the letter.
That's from this past Monday, so.
Right.
Well, the fire chief, that was a forwarding from Monday, from
Oh, January.
Mr. Albright, but, the fire chief noted on January 15th with the modified roadway plan presented. Looks like he was okay, except for the concerns that he noted there. Has
I
assured that
think
the
that-
engineering will find the appropriate way to deal with the washout and grade issues.
Mhm.
The preventive maintenance is the big thing, hopefully it won't happen the same way that it's been happening up until now.
Correct.
Well, the fact that you're doing another section of solar out in the back is probably a good thing as far as the road goes, because
Oh,
if it
yeah.
weren't for this additional solar, then it would be what it was and what it is and never change except for the worse. Until
We've gotta
some-
we've gotta improve the conditions just to get back there, so I
Yeah.
think naturally it's going to happen. It's conditioned on our permit that we have to do that,
Mhm.
from the fire chief, so I think in that letter, he more or less, gave permission or approval of what we presented, but he said, but it's still pending what I said a year ago, which was attached to our permit, so we're definitely aware of that.
Peter, if I just mention something, at the last meeting and at the site meeting we had, it was brought to our attention that, with the change of the companies, and everything, and now they have a new maintenance, what is the company? It's
NRG Clearway
Clearway.
Energy.
And they had indicated that they had budgeted $10,000 for maintenance of the existing facility for this year. And we're planning and, you know, gonna actively start spending that and basically address the shrubs and, you know, in the bad places in the roadway. So this, you know, is gonna, the company appears to have a plan to address these issues.
They have been out to clear the overgrown shrubs. I went back there just before coming over tonight, took a quick walk and confirmed what they said, that they cleared it. I know when we drove back, you kind of were getting hit by some briars that were out in the road, so those have been cleared.
There was a section of road there that was kind of going down, sinking out of sight, and I think that may need to be widened in order to prevent that from happening. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but, it's right about where those briars were, overgrown more so than other
Yep.
areas. I think that section of road was an issue.
Sinking down.
Yeah, sinking out of sight.
And I'd say that's,
I've been satisfied with what they've done.
I'm sorry?
I've been satisfied with what they say they're gonna do.
Okay.
And that's,
I think that specific area you're talking about is on the top of the list for the $10,000 that Peter referenced, that's in their budget. Cause
And
it's
that's-
definitely the worst part of the road.
And your budget, I assume, is above and beyond that, so that you can get out there.
Yes, yes. An operations and maintenance road is not as high level as a construction road.
Right.
So we're gonna kinda combine our forces a little bit, in getting it ready for construction, and then that should put it in right away in good shape for operations and maintenance. And then the new ownership group is, in my opinion, as well demonstrated that they've kinda stepped up to the plate to do what they're supposed to do.
Anything else? Board,
as long as they
anything
do what
else?
they say, we're good.
How about this, pre-construction meeting 2 weeks prior to the start of construction? Who's that meeting with?
This is from Peter's letter.
That's one of your recommendations?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So are we gonna go forward with this? You guys good with that?
We're open to Peter's whole letter, the
I mean,
recommendations
these are
on there.
suggested conditions for
Yeah.
Well, I like that
potential
idea,
approval.
just to
Yes.
make sure the road's right before they start, and everything is, you know, what
Yeah,
you say
we're-
it's gonna be.
I'm with you. Totally
Yeah.
supportive of keeping that
So
on
we
there.
could schedule a meeting for that?
Well, the road's not gonna be right, because this is before they start doing any real work, so there'll be the,
Well, at least they'll have a plan.
yes, yes.
I'm happy.
So
Yeah.
would anyone like to make a motion to approve the minor site modifications subject to the conditions in the February 17th letter from GZA?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, you made the motion, who seconded?
Joe.
Carrie, would you like to keep a large set of plans, or is there 8.5 by 11?
I'm gonna take a large set so I
Okay.
can put it in my,
Yeah.
with the rest of them.
Is the police station operational? Are they working on the new police station?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm gonna attempt to fold it.
I've seen the cop shoveling just for water. How long is that gonna happen?
Yeah, meeting in there the other day.
Oh, yeah, I figured they had some grand opening or something.
Get them
Well,
out
they're
of
still
here.
gonna have it.
What's that?
Did you receive any other plans besides?
Don't let it happen again.
Okay,
Just
next
the ones
item on the
before
agenda
that?
is to discuss, review, and act upon the purchase plan of a
prior?
copier
One's
for
prior
fiscal
to
year
that, so.
I'm saying, these should be stamped.
2020. There will be a
Okay.
special article, or an article in the special town meeting.
I would have whoever
Yeah.
get us a stamped
Stamped.
copy, stamp them, list the date of the plan, and that'll be our record.
Great.
Okay?
And send to the town.
To the town.
Yeah, you could do that, and then could you also, while doing that, have.
What was the purchase price again?
PDF
Oh, 8,000,
of that
right?
as well.
Of the stamp.
Was it 8,800?
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to like 13,000 or so for rental.
Okay.
Haven't seen none of that yet, either.
Problem with buying it.
I remember from the last one, I thought it was 8,800.
I'll keep these
Yeah,
for now
get
in
that.
case anyone wants to see them.
The rental
They
was
wanna
like
come
100 or
by.
something.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, you know, it's
All
like
right.
12
Sorry.
grand or something.
Yes.
No worries, you didn't get
That's
that.
all right. Okay.
Peter, unless you wanna stick around for copier
No.
reasons, you're welcome to,
Considering the snow and
say
everything else.
sayonara,
I
that's
didn't
what I'm
go.
thinking.
Yeah.
It just started when I pulled in.
I know.
By the time, well, you're going north, so it's gonna stay snow the whole trip by the time.
I'll be
it'll
okay.
It's not bad.
It'll be raining.
No,
anyway.
it's, I can four-wheel drive too, so. Do we have anything else coming up in the near future? I don't believe so, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so.
There's
Not
the
as of yet. I
What
have
about
been
the-
hearing some things, but I haven't seen
Site
it.
plan review of the Bristol Aggie.
Bristol Aggie is doing a site plan review. Also,
Okay.
I've had an inquiry for a site plan review for Lynn's Propane. They wanna do another garage. He was supposed to meet with me last week and he never showed up. Yeah. That one, and there's word of mouth for, an application for 200 Williams. But I haven't seen anything yet, for a marijuana
Oh.
application.
Don't they have to get the selectmen's letter first before they come
Yeah, there's a
before us?
lot of, I think, there's a lot of hoops they gotta get
Yeah.
through, but
Yeah,
it's coming down at some point.
at some point.
Good
All right,
job.
thanks a lot.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, again, next item on the agenda is to discuss a copier. Did you
Yes.
learn anything new from since the
So-
last meeting?
Yes, you guys had come up with a whole bunch of questions, you wanted to know the lifespan, of the machine. So, we'll just go down the list, I can assure you, let's see.
Yes.
8 years was her expected productive life. Obviously determining how often you're gonna use it, which I don't see it that much.
If we don't use it, it'll last longer.
Exactly. Let's see, based on our conversation, which might be long. As a fair trade-in value down the road, it's hard for me to say for a couple of reasons. First is when it's traded in, we have to consider technology changes, and the second would be state contract prices at the time. So she said that was a little hard to predict on a trade-in value.
Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen in 8 years as far as
Yeah,
blueprints go.
technology, yeah. And then you were asking about the extended warranty, the service and support system, knowing this is a partnership. My techs take pride in their work, go to great lengths to keep our products running reliably. And these systems are very competitive, so.
So there is no extended warranty.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I need an interpreter for that.
That's all she had to
Yep.
say.
And then I think the last one was you wanted to know the estimated cost per sheet. So service cost for the wide format is .0337 per square foot. Square foot for service and supplies. So chargeback number, so you're looking for, I don't know, calculated on the toner and the factors, and this is also why I recommend purchasing the toners as needed, because you may get higher yield. You are looking for a chargeback number. So I'm starting. So, yeah,
The reality is, do we want it or not? It's not like we can
Yeah.
change these numbers. It's a state
No,
contract
it's a
price,
state
we can't
contract.
negotiate.
Yeah.
I think that this board can go before the town meeting and stress how much of a benefit it is to the entire town hall, not just this department.
correct.
And that, it'll be a benefit to the folks in town who, if they're mad at an abutting solar system going in, they don't have to come in here and take pictures of a 24 by 36 sheet of
Right.
paper. You can just email it to them. And
Correct.
then they can email it to their specialists and their lawyers. And
Correct.
it's just, again, I think that it'll be an easy sell to the town,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Although we may talk about it for 3
You never
hours
know.
at a time, you never know.
You never know. So, yeah, that was.
This will be cost sharing anyway, we talked about, right, with the other
Yes.
departments that may wanna.
Yes, so we can use it in conjunction with like the building department, the
ZBA,
ZBA,
Concom.
Concom. I think those were the three highest ones, and then, of course, the assessor's office as well.
Yeah.
They would be using it a lot, I think, but again, I don't think it's so much as the printing part, I think it's
The
more the scanning and the flash drives. So even if an engineer wanted to come down and give us a PDF or something, they can just come down and do that instead of bringing 8 sets of plans to present.
Does the town have an FTTP site where someone could download megabytes to it of many files and then
I
it
know
can be shared that way?
some of
I know
the,
architects do it all the time. 'Cause
I don't
get
know if they have a
information from them.
particular ITT, the site, the FTTP site that you're referring to. However, I know that they are looking into upgrading some technology right now. So I know that I can actually talk to Mallory about that and see if that's somehow worked into it.
It might just be,
Yeah.
in reality, it might just be the website, the town website.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's
you
what
could
I'm
tell, you could
thinking.
direct, if you had these plans, you could scan them,
Mhm.
have them on file here, and then upload them to the website, and then whoever wanted calls them, hey, I wanna see the plans of such and such, oh, just go to the website.
And as you bring that up, one of the good things that we could do is, so say we have a public hearing, and on our public notices that go on in the paper and out to the abutters, at the bottom it says, if you would like to review the plans, please come during normal business hours. With that, I could scan that in and post it on our website as the packet. So then what they could do is just click on that packet, and then they can have the plans right there, and it'll be all up there and running.
Right.
So I think, in answer to your question, it would be through our website, we
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
now.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the size would be a problem,
Well,
maybe, I don't know.
I think if we had 4 or 5 years of applications on the site, it might be a problem, but if
Right.
we limited it to 2 or 3,
Yeah,
or just open public hearings, or pending or coming up.
yeah,
At any rate, again, another sales,
another benefit would
another
be,
benefit that
then
you
they
just
don't have to wait
explain
for
to the-
office hours, you know.
Along those lines, has anybody run for the planning board?
No, no papers were taken out, that closed on Friday,
I think
Thursday,
it would
Friday.
be returned by yesterday.
I think it was yesterday. Yes, they had to be returned, but I think the last date of
The only
poll
reason I'm
papers-
asking as it relates to this is if I'm appointed to the board after the election's over, I'll probably be the one making the sales pitch.
You can bet on it.
So would anyone like to
So-
make a motion to purchase the scanner
First-
as we've discussed?
Actually, we would need to submit a special warrant article
Oh,
for town meeting.
okay, then would anyone like to make a motion to submit that special warrant article?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay.
Now, do you have a dollar amount for the machine and supplies for a year?
Yes, so we had that, the purchase price was $8,867 for the machine itself. And then the full coverage service is $87.50 per month,
Okay.
which equals to $1,050 per year for the service on that. So when I had put in a placeholder for the special warrant article asking 10,000, so that'll cover both the actual
Toner
purchase
and everything
and the,
First year
the first year and the first round of supplies.
Okay.
So, which I think,
Yeah, they put a special.
again, I don't see us running a lot of copies.
No,
It's
like you
not so
said,
much the
you could probably
copies.
spend weeks upon weeks putting all that into
Scanning.
digital format.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, the intern.
Or
I'm
the
talking
intern,
about.
yes, exactly, the intern will work on that.
Can we count anybody?
So, not yet, we have to go to special town meeting, our annual town meeting first for funding.
Oh,
It's gotta get approved first.
Can't be unpaid.
No, yeah, good luck.
They pay everybody in the town.
I don't know many interns.
Okay, next item on the agenda, public input. No public here to put in. Correspondence, anything that we should be concerned about?
I don't don't know too much about concern, but we did receive that application there, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember off the top of my head, I have the detail on it, because that was a while ago. We did do, on our annual budgets for Serped, they were either gonna level fund it, or they were going to give us the 2% increase. When we submitted our budgets, they were just getting ready to go into their, committee meeting to make the vote on that. The vote came back that they were gonna do the 2% increase.
I voted on that.
Yep, so we do not have to change our budgets because we had already budgeted for that, so we don't have to do anything on that. We budget correctly on that, so we're okay on that. Trying to remember what else.
Mockingbird Lane releases.
Releases have gone out for the Mockingbird Lane so that we can finish up the road acceptance on that. So we're just waiting for all the homeowners to come back with the releases.
But wasn't,
So.
didn't we do the acceptance of that road?
Yeah, we did, but there's a
Yes.
bunch of steps they have to get through to, as far as recording deeds and releases, so that, and apparently when they did the subdivision, they didn't do it quite correctly, so.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that, but I thought since we already did that, and
The
they,
town has not officially recorded it at the
Okay.
registry as accepting it yet until we have a clear title. So that's what those deeds are for, is to clear the title so that we can do the correct recording when we take care of that. And you'll have to forgive me, Peter, I don't remember what that part was, what you're looking at right now, I don't remember
This is
what
a,
that is.
notice for wetland resource impact for the 140-24 interchange, nothing that we need to discuss. I'm
Yes.
just, looking at it, cause I wanna see when the traffic's not gonna be an issue anymore.
That would be, yeah,
Okay, so not much in the,
no?
in the correspondence, so would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I'd like to
Oh,
discuss
sorry.
something, on solar. I was talking to the building commissioner, and, he said that he talked with you about, you know, like they did over the school,
The roof mounted stuff.
the roof
Yep.
mounted or structured,
Yep,
because someone's talking about putting solars on top of agricultural fields.
yep, Jim told me that they figured out a way, I think it was Jim told me, they figured out a way to put solar panels over, maybe I read in the paper, over, cranberry bogs.
Mm.
And I'm thinking to
In
myself,
Norton,
huh? How,
Right.
if there's,
it's in Norton,
the sun's gotta get through somehow,
yeah,
but yeah,
Some plants don't require a lot of sun,
yeah.
yeah.
but who would the permits go through?
Well,
Us?
the site plan review would go through us,
Always.
yes, that's what Jim and I
Okay, and what
discussed.
about the zoning bylaws where it says you can't see these arrays from the road? Would that not play into factor?
I think that's that bylaw is for individual, like ground-mounted solar for families, for single-family houses. I don't know if it's particular, but the ZBA has jurisdiction over that.
That would be a solar array, if you're gonna put it over an entire field, we should have the say, and it should follow our bylaws is what I'm getting at.
Yes,
Or is this gonna be a way around this?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's something we should look into.
It's
Because
worth
all of a
discussion,
sudden,
absolutely.
one's gonna come along and say, hey, well, we're gonna put this over our squash fields. And it's gonna be right along the road. And then the next guy's gonna say, well, how come we can see those, but you can't see the others? You know, that's something we gotta look at.
does the zoning bylaw state that we do not allow anything that's close to the road, or?
Yeah, it says in our zoning bylaw that we're not supposed to see the array from the
From
road.
the road, yeah.
Yeah,
So that would qualify for
That
the ones
would-
on the roof. Now, the way Jim got around the
school.
The school was that he described to me that they were parking garages with solar panels on them,
Right,
which they weren't.
right.
But in the interest of collegiality and realizing that they were already there, what was the point in arguing?
Well, I'm just saying, these things are gonna be coming, and I want them to make sure they come through us.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I think we should probably request a meeting between ZBA and the building commissioner and us and,
Well, we had one of those, but that wasn't on the agenda. But
yeah,
the
but
next
something,
one we have-
that's a good point, because.
Right, because you know, I've said it before, we're more of an action committee than the planning board. We're always taking action over here. The planning is done outside. They already have a plan before they come see us. All we're doing is signing off. But we have to be a little more
Well,
proactive.
The ground-mounted solar arrays that the ZBA approves, I don't know the bylaw off the top of my head, but I believe that you have to have a minimum of a huge amount of land, and the setbacks are like 100 feet, and they can't be seen from the neighbors.
Right,
That's the way I remember it.
right.
And our bylaw says that the large-scale solar arrays can't be seen from the road, and we have setbacks that, on the sides, that have been the reason of all of our
Right.
little, discussions, and they're more controversial. It's too
Need
late
some
for the, it's too
clarification.
late for this special public meeting, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to revise the solar array, the large ground-mounted solar array bylaw, so that they can't be seen from the neighbors. Keep the same setback, but they can't be seen. Now, in our last solar, approval, the guys bent over backwards to agree to landscaping, bonds,
Right, right.
and that stuff, but the next guy might not be quite as amenable to that, unless it's codified.
So I guess the question is, you're not considering that as a large scale ground mounted, because it's not ground mounted, right?
Well, they're gonna be
The ones
in
that
the
Jim was
ground.
described as ground mounted,
The one that
the ones that.
we're thinking that are
that are
coming in,
going
that are
up over
mounted.
fields. He called me quite a while ago and
Yeah.
asked my opinion, especially since my opinion differed from his on the solar rooftops at the schools.
Mhm.
And so I said, yeah, they should come before the board, and he agreed that they will come before the board.
Okay.
And I assume that we will use the same bylaw as we have for the ones that you can't climb under or walk under.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're still ground mounted.
Yeah.
They're in the
Right, that's
ground.
what
They're
I
just
might.
higher up.
think.
Right, they're just
We
higher
have
up.
specifics
Just higher
Unless
on
it's on your roof, it's gonna.
and if they're
mount it.
higher up, then they're gonna have to do a better job of screening them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How would you?
I don't know.
Well,
That would be interesting.
it's gonna be coming.
Yeah.
We'll have
People are
to-
gonna look for ways to skirt around our bylaw.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
again, we're too late for the special
Right,
town meeting
Yeah.
to change it.
right,
I mean, we need to look at it and
for the annual.
be ready to change it for the annual in the November, October.
The fall, it's usually in the fall.
The
October,
annual
November.
town meeting?
Hmm?
You talking the annual
Yeah,
town
the
meeting?
Annual,
That's
oh,
June,
annual
right?
is,
Oh, that's,
Yeah, annual is usually first.
the June one is coming, that's the
June.
annual one.
Yeah,
We're
that's-
too late for that?
I don't-
Maybe,
I don't,
not really.
I have to double check with Mallory.
Yeah, if you could check the dates.
I can't remember.
We can propose
Yeah, we're
to
too
change
late
that.
for the one that's coming up, the
Right.
special.
For the one
We're
in
not late
March,
for the
there's a
annual.
special in March.
There's a special in March.
Yeah,
What's that one about?
that one I have no idea. I haven't,
We haven't seen the
We
article.
can have a public
Haven't seen
hearing on a
anything.
proposed change the night of the meeting if we wanted.
Sure,
Yeah, we did that,
Yeah,
the residents would appreciate it,
yeah.
you
So,
know. People ain't gonna wanna see them popping
No,
up.
I know
you
that.
You know, even driving by, like driving through Berkeley, you don't wanna see.
So
No.
it would be a simple change. You take the words, the clause that says you can't see it from the road, and you change it from the neighbors. On the side setback should be X. They're at 50 feet now, we may as well make them 100.
Yeah.
Hmm.
100, and you can't see it from the neighbors.
okay.
I mean, that's, it's all, the side setbacks have always been the issue
Hmm.
because of the visibility, so we can
Right.
No,
kill
50
two
feet,
birds.
yeah.
Make it-
The
make
50
it-
feet's really nothing.
Make it 100 feet and make it, you can't be visible, so,
So in this says abutting properties shall be visibly screened to mitigate impacts to the abutting properties. So doesn't that kind of
cover that.
already
What does the
designed.
front say?
For the frontage?
Yeah.
The front depth shall be 75 feet. However, that where the lot abuts a residential district, the front yard shall not be less than 100 feet.
Does it say anything about visibility?
That would be further down, was the abutting property shall be visibly screened to mitigate impacts to the abutting properties.
So
The
we
screenage.
should change the words mitigate
Mitigating
to
to-
not visible from, cause mitigate
Is
is a gray word, not visible is a black and white word.
not
Now we're gonna have to
run
run
that
that by our legal
Counsel.
counsel, but it seems pretty
But if
straightforward.
people
Yeah.
propose to install screening to cover people from
Yeah,
seeing it, then that would be allowed.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if it's 100 feet and they put up a bunch of trees, we might even wanna add language that includes a landscape bond in case of failure of the screenings plants. I mean, I don't know how
Yeah.
to legally word it, but it seems like that
something
would
to
cover it.
protect it.
And that way neighbors who are skeptical will be a little less skeptical because have a more of a, it won't be mitigation, it will be can't see it.
Right.
And then when the proponents come and say, you won't be able to see it, and we're gonna plant these trees, and when the neighbors, and there's a performance bond for visibility, and the neighbors come in January and say, here's
I can
the view.
clearly see it,
And
yeah.
you can clearly see it, so we'll have a performance
Something in
bond
place.
to cover it. And of course, they'll be on the second floor, and they'll have
Be looking down on it,
Raleigh
but-
Flex zoom lens, and
That I can see it, I can see it.
Yeah.
so there'll have to be some type the board will have to have the ability to agree or not that it is
Yeah.
visible, or maybe it should be from the first floor,
I'm not
from
sure that
ground level?
not visible is,
Yeah.
I don't like
Make
that
less
word.
severe, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great word.
Which one was that?
Mitigate, make less severe, and
Make
that's,
less
that's.
severe.
Alleviate, reduce, diminish, lessen, weaken, lighten, attenuate. Anyway, it doesn't mean to get rid of it, it means to make it less,
Make it
so.
less
Yeah.
noticeable.
So if we can at least make
Do
it
some research.
more black and white as opposed to mitigate gray.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll do some research and see if there's some
Yeah,
other
there may be
towns
other
that might
towns that
have
have
something
something.
that has more.
Well, we know Berkeley doesn't.
Doesn't
No,
have,
Got that right.
no.
Yeah, make a motion to adjourn.
No, we had to approve some meetings,
Oh.
minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of February sixth, 2019.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Woody,
Motion to adjourn.
second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty,
Yeah, it
that
works.
was a record short meeting for this time of year.
Wow.
Well, actually, it would've been out sooner if we didn't wanna talk so much. Yeah, you can use this next time.
Alright. Good. What's that?
Recycling.
So, do we have everyone's signature?
We recycle the paper.
Well,
Three.
I don't think the snow's gonna fly.